Howdy, Joe again. And it's still Easter, Tuesday, actually rolling into Wednesday, and been thinking several things and almost drowsing off, but I wanted to make a note of appreciation and a thank you to Canada for having an affordable housing program. And it was funny. Today was the final deadline for annual review of documentation and finances and taxes and all of that. It's a bureaucratic and communications and threat level experience that is like sometimes borderline traumatic and it reminds me that I appreciate the fact that I'm not homeless. And I really am thankful to have a perch in the world, a place where a bird can land and have a life. And I really appreciate it. It was odd in how it unfolded because I had misplaced the document and I was tearing the place apart, and it was getting very dramatic. Um, I called a friend counselor and came up with alternate solutions and alternate routes. Found a backup different copy that I could use and went through the mail more closely. And I'd been looking for it. What I had been using was a phone number to call for people of a certain category. Could do it all automatically on the phone in like 20 minutes. And that was what I was used to doing. Um, but it didn't have a phone number. It had a computer password. And so I did it online instead of on the phone. And it worked. Oh, and it had oodles of questions and this skipping point, the hiccup. I had to look 3 times to find it. It was right at the bottom, over top of submit form. There was a little button with actually the button was invisible, but the text was very fine point, like 8 point or 6 point fine print, and it said confirm statements of a date, and took me a while to figure out that you're saying, oh, I attest that what I'm saying now is true. And after I clicked that button, then it went through and it was easy. Only thing is, I still couldn't get into my CRA account, and I haven't for a couple of years because it's got me blocked, and I haven't found someone to straighten that out yet. Um, but the friend I'd called connected me to someone who was doing service in this area, and we connected by phone interview, follow up, technical support visit that turned into my brand new assessment ending up in my email from my CRA account, which I still have to repair that gate. But I've got the assessment and I filed the documents, and it was such a relief because homelessness is a plague on our culture and it's terrifying. And we've got to do more about it. I actually recommend, I was mentioning elsewhere, after the Linton fire and the Fort McMurray fire and the Jasper fire, I think that we have to have, a fireproof village garage, a shelter for, 300 to 1,000 people where people could get to in a storm, that kind of thing. Um, and it could be made out of a geodesic dome with windows and light inside. And in northern Canada, that would be great, a center of a community like a dome, and then off to the sides branches like Quonset wings of, different parts of the community. And it's like building a village. And that's something I'd like to see more of because sure, I've got a lovely apartment and I've got more stuff, way more stuff than I need. I really gotta cull my collection. But I'm ever so grateful to have a home and I just like to say so. And when the when the variables all came together and the envelope went into the slot, like wow, um, it was like pulling it out of the air. Uh, I don't know how I did it. Um, and and just having it wasn't so much the competency, but the perseverance in pursuing the next right thing to do, I think. Or maybe I just caught the tune and fit the dance for a little while and it felt magical. You ever have moments like that? So an Easter Tuesday gift is a subsidy renewal documentation deadline. Wow. And making something like that. Wow. Um, so yeah, those that village idea. It could also be made out of hempcrete, um, fireproof and mold proof, and it can last for half a millennium. And building, something like that somewhere along the Trans-Canada Highway or some interesting intersection, um, and letting the community grow itself. Gosh, I'm on Main Street. Uh, I get sirens a lot, and so you might hear those in the mic on occasion. Um, Easter Tuesday and paperwork put to bed. Wow, that's like kind of a thrill. And how can I share this with others? Because there's so much need out there. Um, and there are cheaper ways to build. Um, we really got to think harder on this and actually get a community project of trying different ideas and testing testing different models to get something that might be modular or a kit. Anyways, it's a huge topic, but affordable housing, it's a requirement of living for a great many people, and it's not to deride equity or ownership. Um, the from Reagan till now, the social policy has been leaning towards transfer wealth from the workers to the wealthy. Uh, the erosion of the middle class, uh, the abandonment of so many. Um, it's as if a great many of the wealthy are saying that noblesse oblige no longer exists, and that requires addressing in considerable regard. But I want to encourage the development of a great deal more affordable housing because renters and owners are, many of them, under incredible pressure just to lacking even breathing room. And it seems that the bosses, the owners, built it that way. And civil society and citizens' basic needs need to be a part of living. And that's not being grabby. It's maybe by way of a thank you, I can figure out some other ways of making myself useful that might not be exactly uh, usual. Um, I'm disabled, and so there's lots of things that I can't do. Um, but the thing is I've got not only a whole bunch of abilities, but I might even have a couple of extra abilities that come from being on the other side of some losses. And life can be that way sometimes. Uh, so this is a little essay, just thanks for a perch in the world. I really appreciate it. Thank you.